Hi, it's Drew. I don't know if you know this channel, but this is where it's my second channel where I just kind of talk. I just kind of go, and it gets rambly, and there's pauses, and I might pause it to eat food. I am pretty hungry right now. I just woke up. It's a very healthy thing to do. First thing in the morning, psychologists agree. Don't meditate, don't stretch, vlog. Just vlog. Talk to the camera, get it all out to hypothetical strangers in the future. That's what you should do. I wanted to talk about like being famous today because I always think it's interesting when people talk about that because I feel like you're not supposed to, kind of like our celebrity culture now I feel like is so obsessed with like false humility, and you have to be like Tom Holland has to be like, yeah, I guess I'm famous. Yeah, but am I? But am I? Mommy, is he? That was Tom Holland and then a British child talking about Tom Holland. Mommy, he's right. Is he famous? Mommy, he's right. Is that funny? Who's laughing out there? The beard is reaching Scraggle levels. And I'm not self-hating, I'm really not. The hair is reaching did not wash it levels. And that's just facts. Facts. That's a hard word to say. That's facts. Because you don't want to sound like you're saying fax machine. Are there any like teenagers watching this? Do you know what a fax machine is? Am I turning into an uncle who's like, you probably don't even know what a VHS is? And you're like, well, yeah, I've read books. I don't only know things that were around. Like the past is available as well. I hate when people say that. You probably don't even know what this band is. I'm like, it's all on the internet. Shut up! Who am I talking about? Mummy, that my uncle, he acted like I did not know the Beatles. I heard of them, they're on Spotify. I'm not great with a British accent. Okay, famous. Yeah, I don't know, I always find it fascinating when people talk about being famous because, and the other thing is like saying that I'm famous. I'm like scared to say it because I feel like you have to be, like I've seen interviews with people who are like, yeah, but am I? And it's like, yes, you are. And it's also important to acknowledge that you're famous because if you don't, people will kind of take advantage of you in a way, but also, okay, that was, I'm gonna leave that in because that was a moment where I would normally making a video. I had decided in my head, if you go back and watch, you're being boring, this is not good, start over. And then I went, you know what, no, I want this to be a channel where I have boring moments, or maybe it's not even boring. Okay, but I don't know, I just want to talk about like what it's like to get recognized, because I feel like people want to know that. I want to know that from other people, but I feel like especially on YouTube, you're supposed to be like, I don't have anything anyone else doesn't, but everyone's like, well yeah, you at least have a few things. And it's weird because it's like I struggle with knowing like how famous I am too. That's the other thing. Like I'm very curious about that, just from like a psychological perspective or something. I'm like, how many people, like if I was in someone else's video with 10 million views, do 10 million strangers on earth know who I am? It's always been so strange to me to think about strangers. Strange strangers. I don't know, because it's like 200,000 people or whatever watch me pretty consistently on my main channel. Does that mean it's easy to be like, that many people care about me? I don't know. Maybe that's an embarrassing thing to kind of admit that I think about, but it is something I think about, like, when I go around in this world. But even if it was, let's say it was 10 million people know who me, Drew Monson, is, that I do not know. I don't think it's that many. Or did at one point and maybe forgot, or if you said it, they'd be like, oh yeah, who was he again? That still leaves 98, I heard some comedian say that recently on a podcast, they were like, even though I'm kind of famous, almost everyone on earth does not know who I am, and they said they find that comforting. And in my head I was like, no, I want everyone, no. I actually don't. That's the other thing. Like, I have the level that I'm at right now is, I can honestly say, I want to like make enough money to like buy a house at one point, but I have no more goals of like going viral and like, I guess it connects with money. I'm just trying to be transparent with you guys. Maybe it's like slimy of me to talk about wanting to make money, but you know, that is a goal, that I can not rent apartments anymore and just live in a place with a backyard. I guess that's not slimy. Unless there's something wrong with the plumbing. Don't say that. Okay, fine, I won't, Mutta. This little British kid is gonna be in all my videos. It's me, it's not a real little British kid. What if then at the finale of this YouTube channel, I actually get an actor to play the little British kid, and he comes out and he's like, "It was me the whole time." That didn't make sense. Anybody in the comments, do you follow my train of thought? Because sometimes I will say things and then I know if anyone were to ask, what's that mean? I go, I don't know. Not sure. You tell me. Friends will sometimes be like, what? And I'll be like, no, I forgot already. What was I talking about? Yeah, I just want to talk about like, oh, there was an actual point I was trying to make about being famous. Oh, well, first I was going to say, if you don't recognize how the amount of fame that you have, what I've found is that people will kind of be usy towards you. And if you don't acknowledge that you're kind of famous, I'll have people just kind of be like, just in my life, sort of, I can tell that they actually do care about me, but they like also want to like collab, you know? And if I, in my head, am like, yeah, but I'm not, like, I suck, I'm not famous. Like, of course they're not thinking that. Like, I have to acknowledge that because otherwise I will just let them do it because I don't believe that they're doing it, because why would they? I'm not even popular. You know what I'm saying? It's kind of a complicated thing. I was trying to think of some funny, because it's like, sometimes people ask me, like, do you get recognized a lot? And it's a weird thing because I have a lot in the past. And that's the other reason I think about like how many people actually know who I am, because I'm like, wait, if I went to Disneyland 5 years ago and I literally got, like one time I literally got stopped like 100 times. I swear, it was like all day, and I was with a friend, and I can't lie, I was kind of like, look at that, like, kind of like, you know, I didn't have to go to Disneyland, but part of me, oh yeah, let's go to Disneyland, like knowing that I would. I know that might be crazy of me to admit, but there's definitely been times where I've like taken a friend to the mall, especially when I was like 18 or 19. I'd be like, let's go watch me be famous. When I was 18, that's what I wanted to do on a Saturday. And, but if I went today to Disneyland, I don't think it would happen as much. But it's a weird thing to think, because it's like, well, the people who would have recognized me 5 years ago, did they forget about me? Am I just not in the forefront of their brain? I don't know, I'm just always curious about like, how do I navigate this world? I want to know what the level of, do you ever have like a thing in your brain where you think, what if there was like a Siri that actually watched everything and could like, I feel like someone's talked about this before, or maybe I heard it on a podcast, but I've always thought this too, where it's like, how many times have I done this? Or like, if there was like an omnipotent person who could be like, this is your, you know, the 5 millionth time that you've been offended by somebody calling you ugly or something, you know? Or like, you don't realize it right now, but your friend from high school is thinking about you, know, like just somebody who knows everything. I wish that person, that like Siri of the world could be like, this many people know who you are. And then I'd be like, okay, that gives me an idea of how to like be in the world. I don't know what idea it would give me, but some sort of idea. But I do get recognized lately, and honestly there was like a while, like the past 2 years, it got to a point where I felt kind of embarrassed because I could feel myself being like, I don't get recognized anymore. And I had like started telling myself, you don't care about being recognized, it doesn't matter to you. And then when it stopped happening, kind of, I was like, and maybe it had to do with COVID too. I'm rationalizing it. It's because I was wearing a mask. No, but and my appearance has changed, and hairs and weights and all this stuff. But it's just a strange thing. And I remember reading an interview with Eminem once where he was talking about how people stopped recognizing him because he wasn't as famous. Like there was a period of time where he hadn't released an album. And I thought that was so interesting that like, because people clearly still knew who Eminem was. But I think there is something to like, if you're kind of more in the public's brain, like when you walk by them, they'll kind of register you quickly. Maybe even you walk by, Eminem probably walked by people who would have known who Eminem was, but they weren't thinking of Eminem, so they didn't recognize him. I don't know, it's weird. I've definitely had strange moments. This story, before I made this video, I thought I should tell the story where, right, like, I think it was June 2020, last year, is what 2020 was. I went to get my first COVID test. Remember when they like first invented getting COVID tests, and it was still like super, like, it was that point where it was kind of like, should I even go outside, like, for like, should I go on my porch? Like, it was that scary. I don't have a porch. I don't know why I said porch. I wanted you to think I had a porch. Mummy, he wanted the public to think he had a porch. Do you understand that, Mummy? Why is this Mummy so confused? It's a very simple concept, Mummy. I have to text my grandma because I was going to make a video with her today and I forgot to. Also, my phone updated and now it's not giving, when I'm on Do Not Disturb, it used to just meant that I don't get like the call, like interrupting my podcast. And now it's just not showing me them. Is this the Apple Genius bar? What is this? YouTube video? Okay, I thought it was Apple Genius. I'm going to come at 1 because I'm making content for my friends, Mummy. Okay, what was the story? Oh, so it was right when I went to my first COVID test. You know what? I'm going to say or 1:30 because this is a long one, the long story. Or 2. Okay, why am I such a wishy-washy person? I just said I'm going to come at 1:30 maybe, or 2. I'm like the plumber. I'll be there between 8 a.m. and 5 p.m. Don't you hate it when they say that? You're like, okay, let me just base my life around the guy who's going to install my Wi-Fi. Thanks a lot, bro. Oh, so I went to the COVID test. Gosh, it takes me a while. There was a lady like she seemed like a volunteer. Like she was just at the gate before you're even walking up to the scientists, the doctors. Not that there's nothing wrong with a doctor. What? And she was like making sure people were wearing their masks or something. And she was like, Drew? And I was like, yeah. It was like the weirdest place to be recognized. I swear to God, the lady who was working at the COVID place, she goes, can I get a picture with you? I go, yeah. She goes, will you pull your mask down? I was like, and you know what's really codependent and non-confrontational about me? I did it. I literally was like, okay, but like stay there. Like I had enough in me to go, don't come close to me. But like, really? I couldn't, it would be totally fair for me in that moment to have been like, no, I will not pull my mask down because you have been approached by people who have come in for COVID testing all day and are probably experiencing COVID symptoms. So I'm going to keep my mask on. Thank you very much. She was sweet, but she shouldn't have asked me to pull my... you know, if you're watching this right now, I love you. Wait, what? I don't love you. Not that I don't love you. I like you. I do like you. Are you... Everyone else leave. Just kidding. She was sweet, but she was wrong. She was sweet, but she was wrong. Me about who? I was gonna name a real person. What? Okay, hi. I'm trying to think of, oh, and recently I got recognized at a garage sale. I literally was walking in a neighborhood near me and I saw that, and it was like almost getting dark too, so it was kind of weird. I was like, oh, it's a garage sale. And there's just like one lady on the porch and I didn't have any cash. And I felt bad. I was like, I shouldn't go. Because you know when you like walk up to someone selling something and you don't want to like tease them and give them hope when you know you're not going to buy anything, or in this instance I couldn't. But I was like, oh, they have like a nightstand that looks cool and maybe I could Venmo them. I'm just going to look. So, and no one else was there. It was like getting dark and I walked up and I realized it was like a teenager on the porch. I imagine it wasn't her house. Maybe it was. Maybe it was a teenage wonder kid. Why would you have to be a wonder kid to have a house? I just made fun of the way that I laughed. Because I didn't like the sound I made when I... So then I did it again to show myself who's boss. I'm boss of myself. That's kind of hot. Okay. I walked up and I saw her face go... And that's always a weird moment where somebody... There's always... When you get recognized, there's this strange thing where if someone's like... like they don't say it yet, you kind of have to just stand... Like, what... I'm always like, what face should I make? Because I don't want to be like, yes, it is. Mm-hmm. So I just kind of go, it'd be funny if I went, oh, wait, you're the, like, I recognized them back. I actually knew them from their, like, Instagram, their private Instagram. They're like, wait, did you hack me? I'm imagining some people are laughing at these weird small jokes I'm making, but I do rely on the comments to tell me the parts you found funny, because otherwise I don't know. Anyway, the weirdest thing happened though, because And sometimes it will be weird when someone recognizes you. I was like, oh, hi, like, yeah, and I didn't bring cash, so sorry. Because it was bad. I was like, oh, man, I was already nervous to come here. And now it's like someone who likes me, and I'm like giving them hope. And she was like, no, that's okay. Like, and I was like, yeah, I get worried when I feel like I'm giving someone hope. Like, I even talked about it. She was like, no, me too. And then she like went inside to like talk to her family or something. I swear she came back out and she seemed mad for some reason. Like, I swear the tone shifted. And she was like, I was like, oh, sorry, I'm gonna go because I don't have, and she was like, it's fine. And I was like, okay, yeah, I know it's, like, is that your twin? Like, did you switch places with someone else who's mean? Like, what happened? And I was like, bye. And she was like, bye? No, she's just so mean. She's like, bye? What do you mean bye? Shut up! No, she was just like, something changed. And then I told my mom that story, and my mom like reads my YouTube comments, so be nice. She reads all of them. It's like a weird thing to tell you. So say hi to her. No, I don't know if she knows about this channel. It's a secret from my family. Mommy, I can't tell you I have a second channel. Because I need space, muddy mummy. Mom who took a mud bath. What? That's what I should call this video. No, that's not clickbait. This isn't clickbait either. Don't accuse me of clickbait. Is this video, this is a little more silly, huh? My last one, that was long. Oh, anyway. My mom saw that girl left a comment. She was like, Drew, look, I saw it from that story you told me. And she was like, you came to my garage sale, sorry if I was weird. I was like, oh, that's interesting. So it wasn't in my head. Because in my head, like, I don't know if, I'm guessing you guys maybe do this too. Because you're around my age in 2021 and have the type of childhood that I had somewhat. I don't know what that means. You didn't have my childhood, and don't get it twisted. Mommy, they didn't have my childhood. Now it's just an OCD thing. I was like, the fact that she acted kind of like pissed at me, even though I knew, I'll be in situations constantly where I know there is nothing in that situation, even if I came and gave her hope or whatever, didn't have cash, you're allowed to do that. But if somebody acts angry at me, immediately I will be like, well, I must have done, like, I am bad. If someone is mad, then I am bad. And we have to unlearn that. And we also have to not get mad at people, okay? Think about the other side too. I guess I should talk about what it's like to be, it's just like a weird thing. Because again, I am scared to like say it. And when I say that people like take advantage, it's not like taking advantage, it's kind of like people, did I talk about this already? Now I'm forgetting what I already said in this. I gotta be honest with you, I filmed this like an hour ago. For like a half an hour, and then I watched some of it back and I was like, this isn't good. But now I feel fake, because I did tell the garage sale story. And that's what's so weird about doing this. It's like, in that moment I felt like I was talking to you, but I never uploaded it. So it's like, if I make a video right now, if I just delete the footage, I was talking to myself this whole time. It's kind of trippy. Do you know what I'm saying? I just can't stop thinking about this dynamic and what it actually means. And am I talking to you? And you probably think that this is me right now. But who I am probably, by the time you're watching this, it could have been a year ago, maybe it's 3 hours ago, because I'm probably going to upload this right when I finish it. I'm probably stretching or walking. I'm making myself sound very active. I'm probably lifting 100-pound weights by now. No, but like, I'm probably reading the comments along with you. It's so strange, but it feels like when you watch something it's kind of happening in that moment. Because people will respond to my video from 5 years ago and be like, hey dude, like, you know, as if it's me right then. It's very weird. But I was gonna say, like, you have to be, I've had to learn that it's not narcissistic of me to acknowledge that I have that people are going to, because I also learned that well, that wasn't even a thing. Also, okay, say a full sentence, you can do it. And I love you. That sounded mean, right? Okay, I'm losing the train a little bit, and I need some potato chips. Did you see the last video? I made another 47-minute video on this channel where I ate potato chips and then got very hyper, and it almost felt like I had taken something to study with, if you know what I'm saying. Awooga. Okay, I really have lost the train of thought. Oh, I've had people in the world who have like kind of wanted something from me. And I've learned that the amount of fame you have to have, or or clout or whatever, for people to want to kind of use you is not even that high. Like there's people out there who will just kind of take what they can get from everybody. And also people who like, I have had genuine, and I can tell actually care about me as a friend, but there is a part of them that's kind of like, and maybe we could collab. And also, why don't we do something together? And it's a weird thing, because it's like, on one hand, I don't want to be selfish, and I will like tweet out something or a donation link or what, but it's like, it becomes a tricky thing. Because you know when like a YouTuber like starts dating someone, and like the reveal of the boyfriend or girlfriend is also like, and check out their channel that I've had them create so they can help pay the mortgage, you know? It's like kind of, that sounded shady, but you know what I mean? And why wouldn't you? Like, if you start dating someone who like works at Target and hates it, why wouldn't you? And you're like making content and no, you don't have a boss, like, it kind of just makes sense that you, but then it becomes tricky, because like business and friendship is hard, but business and relationships, like, and then you're like performing your relationship for people. I never wanted to do that. I keep my whole family and like any of that stuff separate, because people sometimes get offended by like, oh, you know, but I know that it's just, I've been down that road in certain ways before, and mixing that kind of stuff, like, you start to perform. It's like when famous people will tweet each other publicly, and it's like you're not talking to each other. And I used to do that with like other YouTubers. Like, are you on your way? Yeah, I'm here. Like a tweet for everyone to see, and then you like see how many favorites it gets or likes it gets for you to be like, I'm on my way to your house. And it's like, what are we doing? Is this for us? It's not for us. It's like to perform friendship, to like show, and for people to be like, faves interacting or whatever. That's such a, it's kind of, there's something kind of nasty about that. There's something so fake about the whole thing. And maybe it's okay, but it's like, I don't know. I think a lot about right now what it's like to be kind of somewhat in the public eye, however many people it is. There's this pressure. I don't know, people will just really turn you into, I almost feel like the way that this works is that people want to make you like protect him at all costs. That's always kind of like, I don't love that. I don't love when people say, it's like they can't just enjoy someone without making them a perfect god or something. Like, I don't mean that, maybe that sounds like self-absorbed or something, that, oh, people are calling me a god, but it's like they do it with anyone. It's like, especially younger people, I feel, don't have it's such a normal thing to like, if you like someone, let's say you like Harry Styles can do no wrong. And that's such a dangerous kind of place, because he can, and he does, and you do too. And it's such a scary thing to like see people believe that there are perfect people out there, because you're gonna compare yourself to that thing, that Harry Styles who's like nice to people. He's like the one celebrity who's nice. Everyone is mean and honestly, someone with like $100 million, I hate to break it to you, is not nice to people. It's not possible. It's not possible that he is not a huge jerk to the people that are under him. I'm sorry. I don't mean to, I'm like going off, I'm like being one of those guys who's like jealous of other famous men and is like, you're just mad that, okay. But you know what I mean? It's just a weird thing. I'm trying to, but I'm kind of going on a lot of topics here. But yeah, the other thing is that I've definitely had people in my life that sort of, I do care about, and I believe care about me, but then I see that they're kind of like, I hung out with someone once and met their friend, and then I saw their friend like on their phone, and their friend had posted like a Snapchat story or something with like a screenshot of my video being like, look who I'm hanging out with right now. And it wasn't even like they were saying something mean. It's like, that's the weird thing. It's like, they would probably admit to that, but it's like, it's kind of a weird, because it's not like they're saying, I'm hanging out with this guy and he's a jerk or something. It's just like, you don't want to, because in that moment, that girl was seeing that part of that larger than life thing, or that thing that isn't really me. And that's what I think about a lot, is like, the way that this works is that like you are talking about some, like, I don't know, maybe this is like too fake deep or something, but I've been thinking about it lately, like, because a lot of the issues I deal with in my brain I've found are based around my obsession with other people's perception of me and how that intersects with how I make a living, and also just socially how we live in the world now. I'm constantly thinking about what could I say that other people might consume online, and what are people thinking about me when I put that thing out, and do they hate me, and do they love me, and why did they stop loving me, and when will they start hating me, and whatever it is. But I've been thinking about, like, when I sit down and watch a movie, and there are other people out there who are consuming me. Like, if I'm probably gonna watch a movie tonight, and you might be watching this right now while I'm watching a movie, and if you say, "Oh my God, I love you," in the comments, part of, like, in my head, I'm like, yeah, but I'm just a guy watching a movie. Like, you love that. That was me right now. Maybe I am pretending. Like, this isn't really but do you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just strange for people, when I left the internet for a year, last year or whatever, like, when people would say, "Oh my God, I love him," I'd be like, you don't even know, I used to be 24 and now I'm 25, things have changed, like, and maybe part of that is me not accepting love. Perks of being a wallflower. Don't think I deserve it. Did anyone comment if you got that referee? Tweet, tweet. No, they have just a whistle. I force jokes sometimes. Okay. Perks of being a referee? Not many perks of that. You get paid, but other than that, people get very angry at referees. So maybe he should write a book called maybe that guy should write a book called There Ain't Many Perks of Being a Referee. See, that's not good. That's not a funny joke. Okay, and that's okay, and I still love myself. Man, I completely lost. That Perks of Being Wallflower ate my point up. Okay, hi. I sit on a couch and people are watching you see what I'm saying. I think you got it, right? Person watching this. By the way, I got a lot of comments on the last one I made like this, where people are telling me who they were. I like that. It's interesting that people are like, I'm a single mom and I live in Alaska and I love music. Cool. I get really mean. Great. Music. Everyone likes music. Everyone lives in Alaska. Shut up! Just kidding. Say hi to your baby. Yeah, I don't know. It's just strange to feel. And it's also like being famous. I sometimes... I feel like I shouldn't say that. I think that I'm I always use the term when I say it to other people. I'm somewhat popular. I always like I try to make it seem smaller. Like, I guess I'm famous in a way. Oh God, I was about to make the point. I had it right there. It was like I was looking at it and I could see the words on the wall, and then I went to another thing. ADD, is he? We'll never know. Diagnosis reveal. Oh gosh, what is it? Okay, famous, being famous. The other thing about being famous. Man, it's gone. It really is gone. Oh man, and would they watch a video of me sitting there trying to figure out what I was talking about? With $1 on the wall. Can you see the dollar? The joke was supposed to be, did I say this in the last one? That this was the first dollar I made on AdSense? But I didn't explain it. Maybe I will in my next main channel content. Mommy, he's referencing the other channel. It's confusing. The platforms are intersecting. What a smart kid. Wow, I just called myself smart. Found self-love through character work. Very, very good boy. Okay, let me pause it and think of what I was saying. Okay, I think I remembered it, unless I already said it. Now that I filmed this video twice, I feel like I'm going to repeat myself. But what I was going to say is that I feel like it's not about me so much that I'm not even a part of it, and friends have been like, oh, there's like, didn't you, that TikTok audio from your video? Someone said that once, recently, they were like, there's an audio from your video that people use. You know, people use I sound like an uncle now. And I was like, why didn't anyone tell me that? Like, I've had those moments before where I'm like, something's going on about me on some app that no one thought, and it's like proof that it's not about the person that I am right now. Looking out my own eyes, looking at my pajama pants, and looking at is this maroon shirt? What number is this? Maroon 5? Adam Levine, come here. Sit on Mama's lap. Mommy! Okay. Mommy, what's Adam Levine doing at our house?
He's my friend. Leave me alone.
Okay, yeah, it's just strange when it feels like it has to be something separate from myself, because... And also, if someone recognizes you in public, there can be that moment where you kind of see they're very excited. And I think maybe at that garage sale, like that girl might have had the moment where she's like, oh, he's literally just a guy, like, wearing gym shorts at a garage sale, being awkward and, like, wishing he had cash, and, like, inspecting the nightstand and deciding if $10 is worth it. Like, I don't know. Not that I imagine that everyone's, but I feel like the way that this works, you do kind of have to look up. I actually wonder that. Like, do you guys see this as like where I'm looking at you and you're looking back at me? Because I feel like when I watch YouTubers or like people on TV, or I've been raised as like, these are important people and you are you. And so I wonder, like, is there an element of that when you watch me? Where it kind of feels like, oh, look at this person that I cannot touch, but is so close. I don't mean touch in like a weird way. God, I can't not say a weird thing. Man, it's hard for me to not say a weird thing. Okay, any other stories of being recognized? Any other things about people treating me strangely? Yeah, it's just been a complicated thing. I've had a lot of time to think about it. I've been making videos since I was like 13 or whatever, and I remember when I first started getting, it was a Rihanna video, because I used to make these videos. The way that I got views ever online, and I like started early with YouTube, is I would make these videos with the lyrics of a popular song. Like, I'd look at the Billboard website and I'd see what was like number 1 or 2, and I'd make a video about that, and it would show up when, it sounds like I cheated or something, but it would show up when people would search the song. And they used to have this thing called video responses. I don't know if anyone's been on YouTube for that long, but like, you could be the video right under a video. If the person would have to approve it, I think. So you couldn't get, like, if Rihanna had a music video for her song Take a Bow, you probably wouldn't be the response to that. But like, if someone did one of those Windows Movie Maker, like, lyric videos with the ugly blue and the gross text, you know, you could be, my video could be like, and responded to by my toe cold, and that would be a way to get, honestly, hey, listen, maybe you're seeing me differently now, because I was a little wonder kid with a house I wasn't cheating, okay? I was promoting myself. But I remember the first time that I got views, it was like 30,000 views on my video about Rihanna, and I went to church camp like the next day for a week, and I remember just thinking the whole time, like, oh my God, people are out there watching, like, because there wasn't like cell phones. There was, but they definitely weren't working in the woods where I went to church camp, and they definitely didn't have the internet very well at that point. Like, for a long time, there was phones that could kind of go on the internet, but it would be like dial-up internet speed. Remember that? How old are you? Are you 50? Are you 50? Happy bird. What? Okay, but anyway, I just remember sitting there and like, I remember just like, it's just this weird memory in my head that I was around there was these giant rocks that you could like climb and sit on. It was like a thing that people would like meditate on in the morning at this church camp, and just thinking like, oh my God, am I famous now? Like, I mean, it's such like a little kid thing to think, but it was crazy. I was like, 30,000 people that 30,000. And also it's kind of like that Schrodinger's cat or whatever, you know what I'm talking about? Or it's like, is the cat, if you do, okay, you probably know, but just for the people who don't know, there's this like scientist theoretical experiment thing where he put a cat in a box, or talked about, I don't know if he actually did it. And he was like, if the cat, he like left it out, this is probably not the right way to explain it. I don't know the specifics, but he like put the cat in the box for a couple days, and he made it so you couldn't hear or see the cat. And the idea was that the cat is both alive and dead, because we don't know, because it's on the other side of the box. And I kind of felt like that, because I had no way for that week of knowing, what if I come back and now there's 1 million views on that video? What if I come back and there's a parade about me? You know, I remember being so excited, like it was so exciting. And since then, it's always just kind of felt like a progression, you know, of like, but I don't mean progression as like I've become Justin Bieber or something, but I just mean the idea of, I feel like for someone now, like if you're 17 now going viral on the internet, that's always something you've grown up with. The idea that, oh, that's like a thing. Like people are celebrities on the computer, and the computer. On your email, you got email celebrities. Mommy, he's talking like a grandmother. But when I was a kid, it was like a very new thing. I like started right when it became a thing to like have strangers look at you, not on the TV. That was always a thing. Movies, TV, but I was like, the second YouTube started and I saw like Smosh or whatever, like, oh, I can be a shy kid and just be in my room. Like I wanted to be on TV so badly, but I was terrified to tell anyone. I could just I just remember sitting in my room and being like, I'm gonna put this on the internet, and that's crazy. Like, I just remember, yeah, at that church camp just being, and I think I came back and maybe it had like a few thousand more views, and just, it was so exciting. And I definitely, at a certain point, I lost that excitement, and it wasn't as fun. And I went to high school, you know, like in high school I had like 30,000 subscribers or something, and it wasn't as much of a thing to like be an influencer or whatever at that. I feel like now in high school it's like, I'm sure there's like 10 famous people in every high school. I feel like if you go into a crowd now and say who's gone viral on TikTok, probably like a couple people will raise their hands. It's kind of a weird thing now. Andy Warhol was right. Why am I obsessed with British accents? Was I British in another life? This is the only life that matters. But yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, in high school, like, it's weird. I was talking to my friend about it the other day, like, because I was like, she was like, well, you were kind of popular in high school. And I was like, well, I wasn't, I was like, because my memory of high school is that people did not like me. I was very annoying. I don't even mean that, like, hateful to myself. Like, I was intentionally, like, acting out because of whatever was going on at home or in my brain. Like, I was loud. I would be kind of weird on purpose. I would push buttons. I would say strange things in the hallways. Like, not always. I'm making it sound like I was gonna get kicked out of school, but people definitely found me annoying and would tell me sometimes. And it wasn't like but she was like, well, no, people were like people thought that you were famous. And I was like, really? Because I feel like I would get like maybe a few thousand views on my videos, and I'd make them every couple months or something. But I remember once a year, like a teacher, one or two teachers would be like, does Drew make YouTube video, like in the middle of class? And everyone would be like, yeah, because everyone knew that. But it wasn't like people were like, oh my God, Drew just walked in. Like I knew everyone, it wasn't like a gigantic school. But then my friend the other day claimed that people were, I go, no one was like, oh my God, Drew. And she was like, yeah, they were behind your back. And I was like, interesting. That was not my view of high school. I don't think it actually was I was very accessible, and I would do a project with you. But it's just, I've been thinking about it recently and how that's affected believe it or not, I've been sitting around thinking about myself recently. How it's affected my brain and my development. Like being 12 and knowing that strangers, it's almost like being a strange version of a 1/10 of a child star, you know? Just like when you're 12, you're 13 years away from your brain fully developing. And since that, for 13 years, I've had this, I think that's part of why I am so obsessed with other people's perception of me, is that since that moment at that church camp, I've been like, oh, other people are looking at you that you don't even know. You better look good. You better be interesting. You better make sure they don't hate you too much. And feeling good when someone says, I love you, or someone says you're amazing, and feeling horrible when, especially back then, when someone would just say the worst things or want to kill me, or like, you know, I read so many terrible things about myself and just wanted to please this hypothetical, it almost starts to feel like this big glob of just public opinion. It doesn't, that's why I ask, like, who are you? Because if I don't know that you're like a 30-year-old mom or whatever, I just start to see it as these faceless people who are gonna hate me or love, you know? I don't know. I've been thinking about it recently. And it's definitely a complicated thing. And it feels weird to have people talk about you in a way where there's like, you know, comments that are kind of like, I literally saw one that was like, it was last year, they were like, he's my neighbor. I see him, he's doing good, because I wasn't on the internet. They're like, I've been seeing him talking on the phone in the parking lot. And like, it had so many thumbs up, and like a part of me was like, does anybody think about what I might feel like if I see this? It's like such a strange, because it's like, and I know that that's how I treat stuff online. It's like, I love trash talk, or I love seeing behind the curtain, or what's this, but it's like, that was such a strange, because, and that, I read that at a time where I was like already kind of losing my mind and like actual paranoia. And I remember being like, now I'm still thinking like, which neighbor is this? Because I still live in the same place. I'm like, and they're watching me. And none of the replies were like, that's kind of weird. All of them were like, thank you for letting us know. And I was like, I mean, it was sweet. And like but it was like, don't watch what I'm doing and then report to people in YouTube comments that I look happy. Am I ungrateful though for saying that? Because they meant it in a sweet way. I hope my neighbor doesn't watch this, but I've literally been since then trying to guess which neighbor is like, and were they listening to my phone calls? Like, what a strange, that's the kind of thing about it that I don't like. That people are like keeping tabs on you, or like, you know, trying to, I met them and they were, because it's a weird thing, because it's like, people are obsessed with famous people. That's the other thing. And like, the amount of fame it takes for people to be like, oh my god, I met like, is not very much. Like, I'll get excited if someone's like, I saw a person from TV, even if it's like no one I've ever heard of, like they're on like a soap opera. I'm like, whoa, what were they like? And it's hard to know that you can be that person. Again, it doesn't take much that people are like the one, if I, you know, spend 5 minutes with someone, they're my cashier at CVS, and let's say I'm having a bad day and I seem kind of grumpy, or someone recognizes me and I'm having a panic attack. It's happened, you know? And someone could go on a comment and be like, oh, what's he like? Oh, well, I met him. Here is what he is. And it's like, well, that was me for 5 minutes when I was having a panic attack, or having a bad day, or maybe I was a jerk for a second. You know, it's like a weird, people so badly want to, and I want to know. Like, I want to know what Harry Styles is really like. I want to know, but it's also not true. Because, I mean, can you imagine certain 5 minutes of your life or certain friendships you've had describing you entirely? We all have us's that change and are different and can be good and can be bad, and that can be kind of overwhelming, this idea that like we have to find out, again, like a celebrity or a famous person is either untouchable, protect them at all costs, oh, they could do no wrong, or they've done everything. We actually hate them. There is very little gray area in that. I don't know. I hope this answered your question that you didn't ask. I just wanted to talk about it because I think it's interesting I'm trying to think of one more story of being recognized. Oh, I went to a smoothie place with my mom recently because the person had like commented or something and been like, I work at this smoothie place, like, it was around where I live. I guess they knew, and they were like, if you ever want to come, I'll give you a free smoothie. And it was like months ago, and I was around there with my mom, and I was like, oh, this person. But I was like, they're probably not going to be there. And they were. And they, literally, it was like VidCon. I was like, and in my head, I've noticed in that moment, when somebody starts being like, oh my god, to me, the only thing I'm thinking the whole time, if there's someone else in the room, you know, because there was like two co-workers at the smoothie place that were like treating me like it was VidCon, and then there was another girl like sitting at the table who didn't care. The whole time I was just thinking about what that girl is thinking. She probably hates me. Like, my brain won't accept the positive feeling. It will search for the other thing. Like, she's probably rolling her eyes. Oh, she's on her phone. She's probably texting. Oh, this guy's getting recognized. Who even is he? He looks so annoying, you know? It's kind of sad. I couldn't even be present with those. But it is kind of a weird moment. When somebody recognizes you, it's this weird thing where you can see their face kind of go, like, kind of have that moment where they're like, oh, wow, what is he really like? And sort of, and I've had a moment where I kind of try to make a conversation, but I don't want to like seem too needy, because sometimes I've been like walking out and like feeling needy, feeling lonely, feeling kind of out of my mind, feeling like I'm in a weird place and I'll talk to anyone, literally just have an entire conversation with some person who seems very off, you know, at a liquor store. So if someone comes up to me and is like, oh my God, I love your video, I'll be like, cool, yeah, like, how's your day going? And I've felt people before been like, good, anyway, you know, like and that's what I'm always afraid of when I get recognized, is that I'm gonna make it last for too long, and they're gonna be like, I have an appointment. That's the most humiliating thing that could happen. Anyway, that's the smoothie story. They were and then, here, I'll give you a very, very vulnerable thing. I tipped them $20. And when they were, like, the girl went to go make my smoothie, and I took out a 20, and I felt, you ever see La La Land? The girl in La La Land, like, at the beginning of La La Land, if you haven't seen it, I think she tips like $5 or $10 or $20, and like Emma Stone sees that, but then at the end, Emma Stone is the famous person, and I wanted to feel like Emma Stone at the end of La La Land, but I kind of wanted the girl in the corner to see me tip the $20. He admitted it! You ever do something nice, but you kind of want people to see it? But I also wanted that girl to see that I did it when they weren't looking, and kind of be like, oh, he doesn't even care. Wow. Maybe I'll edit that part out, because that's embarrassing to me. Okay. Again, comment if you watched the whole thing. Tell me if I repeated myself, because I did film the video twice. I hope you liked this video. Press the like button. Will you actually, though? I think it does help me. I got monetized, by the way, on here. I don't know how many commercials I put in the middle of this. I'm gonna put a lot. You don't mind, right? You don't have to watch the whole thing. I hope I didn't put too many commercials. I don't know. I just edited it, by the way. Did you notice that? That was like the first cut. Or was there another cut? I'm like, I need to go outside. Hope there wasn't too many commercials. Let me know if you watched the whole thing. I feel like it's interesting to talk about this stuff, because you're not supposed to. PewDiePie is not supposed to be like, here's what it's like being, actually some of them do. Do you ever see those vloggers who would like leave in the part where they get recognized? For like 30 seconds it would just be like them taking pictures with someone, and it's like, why is this in the video? There's something psychologically weird about like YouTube and knowing that the person decided what to put in the video, but I feel like your brain kind of goes, oh, this is just something I'm experiencing life. He didn't even mean, oh, he's just getting recognized now. I guess that's what happens when you go out and film in public. But like, you know do you know what I mean? Like, you know that he was at his computer and went, I'm gonna drag in the clip where I get recognized. But then we watch it later and we're like, oh, that just happened. And I'm seeing it. Comment if you understood what that meant at all. Okay, I'm gonna turn it off now. Guitars, when you don't, it's such an ugly sound, right? Do you ever like just strum a guitar without putting any fingers down? It's the ugliest chord. This? That's an E, that's my favorite. Bum, 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 da, 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 da. Do, 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 do. Ba, da, 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 da. I shouldn't have put a G in there. That didn't make sense. Did it? No. Why do I always be mean to me? Bye.